Pass residents are speaking out against a homeless shelter that's one step closer to being reality after a 6-hour city council meeting. Thank you for joining us for Newswatch 12 at 6. I'm Oscar Rodriguez.
And I'm Samantha Cadera. We'll talk about how the community is responding to the shelter in just a few minutes. But first, Newswatch 12's Danny Stepanovich breaks down what was decided in the city council meeting.
The City Council voted to award the Addressing Homelessness grant to Pathways to Stability.
Pathways to Stability is our #1 scoring applicant.
Pathways says its vision includes 24/7 managed operations, neighborhood security, and a dedicated hotline for local residents. The program will offer housing, recovery support, and faith-based mentorship with low barriers to entry and strict agreements signed before anyone is admitted.
Before we just provide someone housing carte blanche, we want to make sure their mental health needs, their medical needs, their addiction. We want to deal with those root issues.
The proposed site is at 1798 Southeast North Street, about a half mile from the nearest school. Behind me is the vacant lot that soon could turn into a managed homeless encampment. Now, the issue residents keep bringing up as I step off camera is that right across the street is a neighborhood. One neighbor who chose to remain anonymous says until the drug issue is fixed in the city, she doesn't see the encampment as a solution.
And these homeless people are dirty and they're not taking care of themselves and they're drugged out. And these young kids in elementary school don't need to be exposed to that.
Pathways officials say the program will include curfews, ID badges for late night check-ins, and a structured path to recovery and self-sufficiency.
We'll move mountains for someone who wants to change. You may come in, a resident of one of the encampments, but if you follow the steps, you're not going to leave that way. You're going to leave self-sufficient.
Pathways has spent the last 8 months coordinating with partners and expect the county to approve the location. Officials will hold an open town hall meeting within the next 2 weeks for residents to ask questions. Reporting in Grants Pass, I'm Danny Stepanovich.
The city of Grants Pass continued to see large amounts of feedback regarding yesterday's ruling, as one city councilor and the director of one of the groups who presented a proposal in yesterday's meeting shared their thoughts on the ruling.
And Newswatch 12's Daryl Green joins us live in the studio. Daryl, you've been tracking how community members have been responding to this shelter. What can you tell us?
Yeah, the city of Grants Pass has chosen a group to move forward to the negotiation period of their $1.2 million grant for a new homeless shelter, but they are not receiving positive feedback.
I am so disgusted that 6 of my colleagues, along with support from the mayor, would vote to give the grant to an organization who flat out lied on their application.
City Councilor Indra Nicholas is just one of multiple Grants Pass residents who are expressing their displeasure with Grants Pass City Council and Mayor Clint Sheriff following the city's decision to move the Pathways to Sustainability group to the negotiation period for the city's $1.2 million grant for a new homeless shelter.
All 3 applicants presented a plan for additional services beyond just the housing. And Pathways was the only applicant that did not have an agreement for a location.
The Josephine County Board of Commissioners denied that they were in active negotiations with Pathways to Sustainability pertaining a site for the homeless shelter. And despite the site portion of the scoring criteria being worth 30 of 100 points, the group still totaled a higher score than the other 2 groups who had locations secured. The grant's request for a proposal also highlighted in Section 3.d that if an applicant did not have a location secured or a clear pathway to securing one, that they could be up for disqualification. However, the City Council voted to not disqualify Pathways for Sustainability.
To me, it kind of seemed like the grant was designed to go to them, but then open to whoever. It would be nice if everyone could just know that the city would be behind whatever applicant as much as they're behind Pathways.
The city's decision to award their grant for a new homeless shelter is not complete. The Josephine County Board of Commissioners will discuss Pathways to Sustainability's location along 1798 Southeast North Street on Thursday, which will impact future discussions regarding the grant. In studio, I'm Daryl Green.
Thank you, Daryl. Now let's check in with our Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman. Matt, we're seeing more blue skies today, but we can see some changes in the weather, right?
Yeah, we do have some changes on the way in the days ahead. Let's take a look outside right now, though. We're seeing pretty clear skies as we step into this evening. Harder to see now in Smith River, but we do have some pretty heavy surf right now. That's going to continue into tonight. There's a high surf advisory along the southern Oregon coastline through 5 a.m. tomorrow. Large breaking waves up to 24 feet will be possible, so just be cautious through the early morning hours of tomorrow if you're going to be on the beaches. Right now, it is 70 in Grants Pass, Medford. Another fairly warm day in Brookings as well, also at 70 degrees. But we got some changes on the way for the coast tomorrow, but expecting more sunshine overall and fairly warm weather again tomorrow afternoon, but starting to see those temperatures dropping off on the east side. 60 in Klamath Falls. We're at 55 right now in Chemult. So mainly clear skies. There may be a few high clouds for inland areas, but clouds and fog will increase along the coast, and there is the potential for some showers and maybe some drizzle for coastal communities into tomorrow morning. We'll get down into the lower 40s in the Rogue Valley tomorrow morning, starting off likely below freezing in the basin. Tomorrow, coastal clouds, cooler for the coast, and also some showers possible mainly in the morning. There will be some breaks of sun in the afternoon, but inland, generally mostly sunny, still fairly warm with above average high temperatures on the way for tomorrow. Up to 72 degrees in Medford and Grants Pass, along with Wairika. Only 61 in Brookings, a little bit cooler for tomorrow, and getting up to around 67 degrees in Klamath Falls. Tomorrow, you will notice some breezy conditions along the coast, and we will see winds picking up along and east of the Cascades, even in the Shasta Valley later in the day tomorrow. But the main event in our weather arrives as we wrap up the week and head into the weekend. We're going to be getting into a much more active weather pattern, quite a bit of precipitation in the forecast over the next 5 days. We'll talk timing of these storm systems coming up.
New at 6 tonight, Klamath Falls police are announcing the suspect in a series of fires through downtown last week. Police say they received report of a dumpster fire near 200 Main Street, which were followed by another on Main Street and a third on Pine Street. Surveillance cameras and witnesses were able to describe the suspect. He was quickly located after the last fire and arrested on charges of arson, reckless burning, and criminal mischief. All fires were fully extinguished before they could get out of control.
In our fire watch, the City of Wairika and CAL FIRE Siskiyou unit are conducting prescribed pile burns at Greenhorn Reservoir. 20 to 30 piles will be burned as a part of an ongoing effort to clear dead and down vegetation. These burns are expected to last 2 to 3 days. The City of Wairika and CAL FIRE ask everyone to avoid the trails and areas where active burns are taking place. And in the Rogue Valley, Prescribed Burn Association is announcing 2 opportunities to learn about conducting pile burns in November. These workshops will discuss tools, safety, and the legality of pile burning. Those will be held in November 1st and November 15th. Oregon State Parks is announcing the 2026 Oregon Recreational Trails Plan, a plan that recommends actions over the next 10 years. The statewide Trails Plan outlines the trends and issues to create priorities for grant funding. Recommendations in the plan cover all non-motorized and motorized trails and public lands, not just within Oregon State Parks, but public park feedback opens on October 30th. A closer look at the plan can be found on kdrv.com.
This weekend, Mercy Flights welcomed over 100 community members to their first annual open house here in Medford. This event offered tours of various emergency response tools, including helicopters, planes, and ambulances. It also included career exploitation opportunities for anyone interested in emergency medical services. Mercy Flights says the open house was a wonderful opportunity to build stronger connections across the community. And on to our School Watch, Oregon Tech is announcing a direct admission program for students receiving dual credit through OIT. This means high schoolers who take dual credit courses through Oregon Tech will not be required to apply separately for admission. The program aims to make the admission process simpler and faster. Currently, Oregon Tech offers dual credit courses through 82 high schools in Oregon, with over 5,000 students participating.
Now, there are only a few days left in our annual Coats for Kids campaign, and several organizations have partnered with Newswatch 12 to bring a new or gently used coat to kids in need. A linen servant who has helped us clean those coats has now made a special donation. Only 5 days left remaining for our Coats for Kids campaign. Many are bringing new or gently used coats before it's too late, including Southern Oregon Linen Service. They have partnered with Newswatch 12 for over 20 years in cleaning the coats for this campaign. I spoke with General Manager Antonio Casillas, and he said for the Coats for Kids campaign, they launder an average 1,800 jackets.
We already serve our community by laundering all the linens for our hospital. We figure it's a great cause for our community to just give back to the kids, especially the kids in need.
Southern Oregon Linen Service always donates money to the campaign, but this year they decided to do something special.
We decided that instead of just writing a check, we'd go down to a store as a team together to shop for different jackets.
Antonio told me him and his team filled up 3 carts full of jackets.
Just literally picking up just jackets by the handful and putting them in the cart. We picked up bundles that were on tables and stuff, so it was just really fun.
Which they ended up buying over 100 jackets, and saying they might have found a new tradition as it continues their team bonding. For Antonio, Coats for Kids has a special place in his heart.
You know, growing up myself, I was one of those kids that benefited from programs like this, so it's very touching, and it's awesome just to be able to give back to them.
He kept saying how it's great to give back to the kids, especially when not everybody can afford something like this right now.
Just being able to do that and knowing how fortunate somebody's going to be able to receive a gently used coat or a brand new one, it's just a warm feeling in your heart.
And not just Southern Oregon Linen Service is helping out, but as well Windermere Real Estate, as some staff members come during their free time to help organize our donated coats. From taking off the tags to placing the jackets in the correct size, Newswatch 12 thanks them and other organizers that help make Coats for Kids campaign a success every year.